Hello, everyone. This is Becca from DECO BOKO Speaks. I'm here today with a DECO BOKO artist showing work in January. We have Mr. Atsushi Adachi. And hello. How are you? Ohayo
おは
gozaimasu.
ようございます。
おはようございます。
I think it's very early in Japan.
今結構割と朝早いですか？早朝ですか？
今、日本時間朝9時ですね。
It's 9 a.m.
Ah. And where are you? What prefecture are you?
日本のどちらにいらっしゃいますか？
日本の横浜にいますね。
横浜？
Nice, nice. And can you tell us a little bit about your work and how, just a little introduction before we actually see some of it?
私は、足立敦で、芸術、アーティストで、作る作品は、立体も作れば、普通にインスタレーションとか、何でもやりますね。けど今は主に紙を素材にして、記憶というものをテーマにして、で、記憶を記録するっていうテーマで制作しています。記録するっていうのは、いろんなものとか、この世に存在するものには、何かしら、歴史とか、今、生きてたり、存在したりする時代の、出来事とか、そういうのが刻まれているというテーマでやっていて、で、それが、ものとか、物体の表面に刻まれているっていう考えで制作していて、例えるならば、歩けば靴のかかとが減ったりとか、乗り物で言うと、車で言うとクラッチとかが、その人の癖になったりとか、そういうのが、ある意味記憶されているっていうイメージで、それを可視化して、いわゆる人間が発明した記憶する媒体として、文字というものを使って制作しています。
His name is Atsushi Adachi. He's an artist and he focuses on creating art mostly in 3D as well as installations. He works on creating atmosphere and space. One of the focuses or features that his pieces have in common is that he tries to see people's memory and record those memory on the surface of his artwork, because he feels like people's memories are always kind of carved or engraved on the surface of things. So, for example, things like the heel of your shoes or sneakers, like over time you need to replace it because when you walk a lot, it kind of changes shape into
Wears out.
Yeah, whoever it kind of catches the person, the individual's style of walking. So like everybody's like souls are different, and that's what he sees in people's like memories.
Ooh, it's
So
a good double meaning there.
Yeah, so he tried to record that on most of the time on paper, and sometimes he uses text to kind of represent the topic. But that's pretty much his style of artwork is.
That's very cool. Awesome. Now, first off, I saw this piece and I was really wowed by it because you did say space, but I didn't think literal space. But
Right.
how large is this? Because I couldn't tell in scale. Like,
実際のサイズはだいたい縦の高さが80センチぐらいで、一応モデルにしているチンパン、猿なんですけど、それの実物大という感じで作ってますね。
The actual size is about maybe about a little bit less than 3 feet tall, It's about
Oh.
80 centimeters. Because the concept is that this is made for monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
So the monkey's height is about that height.
And can you talk a little bit about the materials? I can see that there's obviously newsprint, but I'm trying to figure out the rest of it. I'm going to go through a couple detailed shots.
まずこれに使ってるその文字媒紙の素材は、NASA のアメリカ航空宇宙局に使われていた、その書類を使ってますね。
なるほど。実際の書類
はい、実際の
ということなんですね。
書類を使っていて、あとそれ以外は、顔の部分がちょっと半透明になっているのは、ろうそくとかのろうを使ってますね。
So the prints that's being used on this piece in particular was from actual documents from NASA.
Oh, wow.
NASA.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the inside, if you can kind of see the monkey's face.
I know, I do. And once you had said monkey, I said, oh,
Yeah.
now I see it. Yeah. Very cool.
It's,
Is it resin? Resin?
It's wax.
Wax. Okay.
Wax? Yeah.
Cool. And so just about I guess now that we know it's a monkey in an astronaut suit, what is the deeper meaning behind it? Because I can make a few guesses, but I'm curious.
まず、モチーフにしているのは、NASA の宇宙計画で、初めて、アメリカで宇宙に行ったある意味人の代わりに行ったものとして使われたチンパンジーでハムっていう、もしかしたら、アメリカの方だったらもしかしたら結構知ってるかもしれないですけど、チンパンジーのハムっていう、ハムザチンプっていうのがして、それが宇宙に行った、その人間の代わりに実験動物として行ったっていうのを、ある意味一つのテーマにしていて、その宇宙開発っていうのは、人間のやることですけど、やっぱり基本的には人間がやっぱり誰が行ったかっていうのは有名ですけど、やっぱその陰に様々な動物が、やっぱり実験体として、やっぱ送られていて、だけど彼らもある意味一つの宇宙飛行士、アストロノーツじゃないかっていう考えで、なので、アメリカの場合はチンパンジーだったり、ロシアの場合は犬だったりとか、他にもいっぱい虫だったり、爬虫類だったりいるんですけど、そういうのを一つのテーマとして、先駆者というか、人間の代わりに先に宇宙へ行った、宇宙飛行士としてちょっと本当はこういう宇宙服は着てないんですけど、あえて宇宙飛行士っていうので、当時の実際に人間がいて宇宙服をモデルに、それをちょっと自分なりにアレンジして動物に着せてみたっていう作品ですね。
Yeah, so back maybe a few decades ago, the US launched a space shuttle with a chimpanzee called Ham. And maybe people in the US would know more than people in Japan about this, but they would call him Ham the chimp, and he was like the first animal
mascot.
Yeah, that was launched to the space. And the actual chimpanzee, Ham, didn't wear any astronaut wear like this, but I think he was just in the shuttle the whole time. But he kind of wanted to that's kind of like the theme of this particular art piece, that he wanted to tell the story that these animals were kind of used to in substitution of people,
humans. But really they should be honored,
so it was kind of like an experiment, but you can kind of think differently, like the chimpanzee was the pioneer
Right,
of
right, right.
humans,
Yeah.
so that humans can achieve more through technology.
Mm-hmm.
And for the US, it was the chimpanzee, but for other countries, there's been like dogs and other insects and other animals that were
Mm-hmm.
launched to the space. But this is from NASA.
Yeah.
The whole story kind of ties together with the actual history
Yeah.
and the art piece.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to go on to the next piece. We have,
次の作品に移ります。
which is also really cool. And I would love to know just where the inspiration came for this piece. It seems very different from the last one.
こっちの作品はもう一番新しい作品で、これはまあ記憶がこう忘れるとかっていうのをテーマにした作品で、まあ、忘れていくとか、こう、まああとはこう忘れ去られるみたいな。まあ個人が忘れるのもそうですし、あと記憶から、歴史からこう忘れ去られていくみたいなのをテーマにしていて、まあ、なのでこう、まあ物体がこう、だんだん朽ちていく。まあそれがなんか鉄が錆びるみたいだったり、あとはまあ生物、まあ人間でも食べ物でもいいですけど、それが腐って朽ちていくみたいな、そういうちょっとテーマでやっていて、でまあ先ほどもこう全体の自己紹介の時言ったみたいに、まあ文字とかっていうのをまあテーマにしているので、まあその人間っていうまあ物体自体はある意味、こう、もう文字とかっていう文字媒体として構成されているみたいなイメージで、まあなのでこのキューピーちゃんだと頭とかお腹の部分は崩れている部分が全部文字がバラバラになっているっていう風になっていて。はい。
これって、ズームして近づくと文字も見える感じになってるんですね。
そうですね。なんか一見なんかただ崩れてるようですけど、近くに見るとこう、いろいろな文字、まあ文字ですけど、ある意味記憶がこう、まあただ何が書いてあるか読めないんですけど、こう、記憶が存在して、それがまあだんだん忘れるというか、朽ちていくっていう感じの作品になってますね。
So yeah, this piece is representing the theme of forgetting and being forgotten. And if you zoom closer to the spots where there's like you see the darker spots on the head and the stomach.
I was trying to zoom in earlier and it won't let me do it, unfortunately. But yeah.
Yeah, if you look closer, this part is all text, so it doesn't have meaning to it, but it just kind of represents the people's memories. That's
kind of what he was talking about in the
kind of what he was talking about earlier, but you can kind of see it, but you can't read it or you can't understand it, and people just kind of gradually forget something that's been left in the past.
I mean, especially just the power of a baby with a hole. Like it's a very, a baby, but symbolic of humanity as a whole. That's kind of what I'm getting. Very beautiful. And is this what's the material?
これの素材は何でしょうか？
素材は主なこうまあキューピーの形は水性の樹脂を使っていて、細かい文字の部分は紙をレーザーカッターでカットしたものになりますね。
The body is made out of resin, and the text, the little pieces of like each characters cut by laser.
Oh wow! And the next piece, it's kind of like to me, it's like a disintegrating origami, like paper plane. But I'd like to know a little bit more about this and just your decision to work in sculpture as a medium as opposed to other forms of art.
まずこの作品に関しては、まずこれはやっぱ 見ての通り、折り鶴ですね。
はい。
で、まあ、素材とか、基本的にはコンセプトは、まあ、先ほどのキューピーちゃんと一緒で、まあ、記憶とか崩れる、記憶とかがこう、だんだん失われていくっていうテーマなんですけど、まあ、折り鶴っていうのは日本だとこう、まあ、平和を願うとか、そういうやっぱり意味が強くて、まあ、これに関してはちょっとこう、そういうちょっとまあ、なんかこう、まあ、少しこう、戦争という記憶がだんだんと薄れていくっていう、まあ、特に、まあ、今の日本とかは特にやっぱり過去、まあそういう過去の大戦とかあったり、で負けたりしてっていう、でまあ憲法とかでも二度と戦争はしないって言ってますけど、こうだんだんとまあ、やっぱり世界はどんどん世の中変わっていく上で、やっぱり日本もだんだんとこう、少しずつでも、やっぱりちょっと、果たしてそれがどういくかわかんないけど変わってきているみたいな、そういうような考えでやってますね。
Yeah, so this is a origami crane, and the wings. So you were kind of right when you mentioned plane, because the message behind this piece is that origami is kind of like a tradition in Japan, as you know.
Yeah.
And the crane is kind of like a signature piece or shape when people do origami. And it's also a symbol of peace and health and things like that. Like it's basically really positive. But after the last war, World War II, when Japan lost to the US, Japan changed the law so that Japan can no longer attack during war, or
Right.
even if it's like Japan has a army, but they can only defend themselves, and they can't attack other countries. That's the new law after Japan lost to the US. But it's been like over 70 years since that happened, and I think people like our age.
You mean 70 years?
No, like
you said 7 years?
Oh, 70? Like
70.
70,
Yeah,
75 years,
yeah.
maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so people our age don't really know how it was like during the war. And when we were like little kids, some of us might have had like grandparents who went to the war and things like that. But now, like the current generation has like no connection to it. So it was, for people living in Japan, I think some people feel like Japan is kind of like proceeding towards another war in a way, because things change and the world changes. So sometimes you can't really control those types of things. But this piece, the letters, has something to do with the war, and it's kind of showing that the piece is not 100% anymore. Like it's slowly moving backwards a little bit, kind of. So that was the theme of this piece.
Oh, sorry. Oh, it's really beautiful because it's also it's more about the form, and rather like a lot of art is really about like the color, and there's just so many textures to consider. This really just makes your eye focus on the piece itself. So it's very cool. Well, the next piece is very different, and I would love to know your thoughts on this, because it makes me think of an old village, if I were to imagine, in Japan, but disjointed somehow, like it's falling or disintegrating, or a period that's lost.
まあ、この作品自体、まあ、まず、やっぱり素材自体も今までと違って、これは完全にミックストメディアっていう、まあ、何でも素材として使うっていう作品で、で、まあ、これ自体は、こう、まあ、テーマはこう、積み重なるっていう、まあ、記憶がどんどん、こう、積み重なっていくっていうようなテーマでやっていて、まあ、やっぱりこう、まあ、また日本のちょっと歴史的なものなんですけど、まあ、日本ってやっぱりこう、過去、まあ、 戦争もそうですし、あとは、やっぱりこう、地震の国なんで、大きな地震とかも何度もあったりして、まあその度やっぱりこう、割と結構やっぱ日本の街っていうのはそういうのに弱いので、やっぱりこう、廃墟とか、まあ、それこそもう全てを何もなかったようにしてしまうんですけど、まあそういうのも乗り越えたり、まああとはこう単純に歴史を積み重ねるのもそうですけど、そういうのでこう、まあ、ちょっと写真だと下の方がないんですけど、下の方がなんかこうボロボロで廃墟みたいになってて、で、それがだんだんと積み重なってこう、廃墟からだんだんこう、まあこう今の写真みたいにちょっとこう、ボロいバラック屋っていうか、ちょっと貧しいけど、こうだんだんと人が住んできてで、最終的にこうだんだんと上の方が綺麗になってきてで、だけどそれでもまだ、こう作品の上にクレーンとかあるんですけど、どんどんこう、人の歴史が積み重なっていくっていう、そういうようなテーマで作ってますね。
Yeah, so the material for this piece, he said it's mixed media, so basically he can use anything he wants on it, and
Right.
this is representing the history and people's memories being stacked up.
Ah, okay,
So
okay, okay.
the
So
old,
playing with the theme of memory in a different way.
yeah, and the bottom part is older, and as it gets higher, it I guess it becomes closer to the modern era, and also it's kind of representing Japan's history because Japan is located in an area where there's lots of earthquakes. So every time there's a big earthquake that hits Japan, everything kind of resets and then people build on top of it. So it's kind of showing how, Japanese people face destruction and then rebuilding and,
Yeah.
and in between there's been wars. So that's kind of like part of the focus here, but that's what this piece is.
It's interesting because I always imagine Japan's like infrastructure is so old and like temples and things, that have been there for years, and then you don't often think about it's actually there's a lot of reconstruction and destruction and reconstruction and maybe these memories being lost over time. So it's interesting to see it's so disjointed and the shapes and the lines that it makes. It's really, really cool. Well, I just wanted to, thank you so much for sharing your work, and I would love to know, just for our viewers, where everyone can see more of it, if your website.
はい。まあ、インターネット上だと私のウェブサイトを見てもらったり、あとは Facebook ページの方に、こう、時たま制作してる途中の写真とかも上げたりしているので、そういうの見てもらえるともしかしたらこう、完成品見るだけじゃなくて制作途中見るのもまたこう、いろいろこう感じたり、まああとは単純に面白かったりもするので、まあ、あとは展覧会に関しても、まあちょっと今こういう世の中なので、海外とかはちょっと難しいんですけど、まあ国内とかでしたらまたいろいろと展覧会して、そういうのもまたこう、SNS とか、こう、ウェブページで情報とか載せたりしてますね。
はい。So he has a website, and also he has a Facebook page, and in his Facebook page he posts things like the process of making pieces and things like that. So it kind of gives you a better idea of how things are being created, and because of the pandemic, it's kind of difficult for him to do exhibitions overseas now. But he has a few exhibitions coming up in Japan. So maybe next year, when he's able to announce those new exhibitions, it'll be up on his website and also his Facebook page.
That makes sense. It's obviously really difficult as an artist. I can't imagine. So. Lovely. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. I would love to tell our viewers if there's more you'd like to see, please check out DECO-BOKO exhibitor.com in our link below. And thank you so much, Mr. Adachi, for being with us today, Adachi. And we will see you soon at the trade show, and we'll see you more of your work in January. So that's wonderful. And thank you, Herbert, for translating. Beautiful job as always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a wonderful day, you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.